What's up everyone? Today in this video I'll be answering questions that were submitted through an Instagram post on my Instagram profile at Untamed Strength. We got some good ones. And so that you don't have to look at my face the whole time, I'm gonna be playing some B-roll footage of my first couple days back in the gym after my recent powerlifting meet. So let's get to it. The first question comes from R. Racy, and this question had the most likes. So let's get right to it. How long did it take you until you fully learned how to program? So I don't think that there's a clear, hard start and end date to fully learning programming. And I don't think that I fully know everything there is to know about programming. Programming or learning about programming and coaching is a long-term process. The longer you do it, the better you'll be at it. And it's not like I went through 6 months of rigorous training and then I graduated with my degree in programming. So like I said, the longer you do it, the more you'll be exposed to different types of clients and different variables. You might have an older client, a younger client, someone with a long training history, someone who's starting out from scratch, someone who's very responsive to training, someone who's not very responsive to training. Maybe someone that has only time for lifting twice a week, someone that can lift 5 times a week. Certain limitations of certain things that people can't do, maybe equipment limitations, maybe goals, someone's competing in a powerlifting meet or someone's just training for general health purposes. There are a whole bunch of factors and variables in programming, and I think the longer you do it, the more you'll be exposed to that kind of stuff. And so I learned something from every client that I work with. Now, with that said, when I started working with Austin, I would just pay attention to what he would program for me. So I would look at how the program would move from week to week or from month to month or even training cycle to training cycle or block to block. And I would pay attention to that stuff. I'd look at the adjustments he would make. I'd listen to the questions he would ask me, and I'd start to see these trends, these reoccurring trends, and I would take some of that stuff that I was learning by just observing, and I would implement that with my own in-person clients' routine. And after about a year of working with Austin, he and Jordan contacted me and asked if I would help Barbell Medicine with online programming. And I know more now than I did when I first started with my first client, and I'm sure I'll know even more next year. So I don't think that there is a clear, hard time when you have fully learned programming. But for those of you who want to learn more about programming, I would suggest starting at the Barbell Medicine YouTube channel and watching their 3-part programming podcast lectures. There's 3 videos. I think you can get the podcast on iTunes also, but you can find it on the Barbell Medicine YouTube channel. I would highly encourage you to be critical of your own programming. And if you're in charge of clients, be critical of their programming. Why are you not making progress? If you are making progress, why is that? Pay attention to these types of things. I used to just follow stock programs that I'd find on the internet, and I thought, well, this program is on the internet, so it must be good. And when I wasn't making progress, I would look at everything other than programming for the reason of why I wasn't making progress. I'd say, you know what, Alan? Maybe you're just being a pussy. You need to man up, beast mode, go hard. You're just not man enough. You just need to sack up and do it. Or I would say, maybe I'm just not eating enough. When I was eating plenty, I would never actually look at the programming and say, okay, so when I was having success, maybe this is why, and now that I'm not making any progress, maybe I'm just not doing enough. Maybe my program sucks. Next question comes from Blaine Moore 97. Why did you stop using a thumbless grip on squats? I used to use a thumbless grip, so thumb over the bar with a flat wrist, and I would tuck my elbows really almost directly underneath the barbell. And I was getting a lot of elbow pain. It was just a throbbing sensation in both elbows. It wasn't one and not the other. Both elbows would just throb and ache. And I realized that it was from squats. And it was affecting everything else. I was having a really hard time benching and pressing. And it was only getting worse. So after talking with Austin, we decided to put my thumb around the bar and bend my wrist a little bit. And that seemed to take some of the load off my elbows. And every once in a while, my elbows will ache a little bit, but it's not nearly what it was back then. So that's why I switched the thumbless grip to thumbs around. Lopez Mopez. Is 531 a good program to build strength before a meet? I'm gonna say no, 531 is not a good program to build strength before a meet. So the reason is its lack of singles, does not incorporate singles into the program, and the lack of frequency for the main lifts, which could be tied with the lack of volume. I don't think it's great for getting ready, if you're getting ready for a powerlifting meet. Now with that said, I've made a video about 531 where I discussed the differences between 531 when I was doing it and my current routine. And it got quite a response. People seemed to think that I was taking a shit in Jim Wendler's open mouth. That was not my intention at all. So let's talk a little bit about 531 because I know everyone likes talking about it. So I think that context is very important. So what I mean is this. When a long time ago, before I started doing 531, I was just doing like bodybuilding, men's health workout, magazine workouts. So I'd have a chest and shoulders day, back and biceps day, a leg day once a week, an arms day. And I was just doing 5 sets of 10 or burnout sets, drop sets. And when my friend showed me 531, it was unlike anything that I had been doing in the gym previously. I started to focus on movements, not muscles. I said, all right, let's stop worrying about chest and back and biceps and triceps. Let's start focusing on bench, squat, deadlift, and press. And so focusing on those movements really kind of made me hungry to get into the gym. It was a lot more exciting for me than just going to train in arms. And also using percentage work was something I'd never done before either. So actually being able to monitor progress was nice and it was helpful. And again, it was got me into the gym, it got me motivated to go to the gym. And the AMRAP sets, doing as many reps as possible, was a good clear number where I could gauge progress, right? I did 300 for 5 reps. Now I want to do 300 for 6 or 7 reps, and I would. And so in that sense, 531 was a great program for me when I first started it. And there are plenty of people who come into Untamed Strength, ask me about programs, and a lot of them will say, I'm doing 531 right now, and I'm making great progress. That's good, keep it up. The whole reason I made that video is because 531 is my default program, and I didn't realize this program is not great if you're, once you exhaust it. And so that video was made to show some differences between, I was doing 531 for a long time and not making any progress, right? Now I'm doing this and I'm making a lot of progress. So what's the difference here? Anyways, enough of 531. Luke Cruiser. Should you train low bar squats and deadlifts on the same day? Because my squat increases dramatically, but deadlift stays the same. How would you recommend training the 3 main lifts on 4 training days per week? So you could train your squats and deadlifts, but typically for my programming and when I program for my clients, I do not put a competition squat and a competition deadlift on the same day. But often I will have a squat with belt or a competition squat and a deadlift variation. And then on another day, deadlift with belt and a squat variation. I think that that's a little bit more manageable, not only from just a work capacity standpoint, but also from a time standpoint. There are times when I'm doing a single at RP8 and then 6 sets of 5. And doing that for squat, comp bench, comp deadlift, it's a long time. People ain't got time for that. So if I was to program, let's say you were squatting twice a week and deadlifting twice a week, I would do squat day 1, deadlift day 2, squat day 3, deadlift day 4. And typically I'll do a competition style squat with my belt on one day, and then the other days during the week it'll be a beltless variation. Pin squats, pause squats, tempo squats, and same with deadlift. Competition deadlift with a belt. On the other days will be a variation. Deficit deadlifts, rack pulls, pause deadlifts. Hope that answers your question. Mayamo Mud 1. Tell us on why you switched to hook grip, also the challenges and the tricks you found along the way. So I get asked this question a lot, and I don't remember a time when I don't remember a period of time where I had to adjust to hook grip, where I would just say, it's gonna get better. And I think it was because I was a little bit crazy in the head. So I would actually thrive on the pain. When my thumbs were aching, I would say, yes, I am so badass. Look at how mangled these thumbs are. My thumbs are killing me. I am going hard in the gym. And looking at it that way made it a lot easier to deal with. And the reason I switched to hook grip, I used to be really, probably overcritical of my muscles. And so I would, look in the mirror with my shirt off, and I noticed that one trap would sit a little higher than the other. Honestly, I don't think it's a big deal, but I would look at it and I'd say, oh my God, look at how bad this is. I am so asymmetrical. And to the point where I would like shrug the other one to try to like even it out. And I don't think it was bad as it was. I was just being a little overcritical and hyper aware of it. And so it was so bad that even when I was benching, I was like, I can't stay on the bench straight. I'm falling off here. I'm so crooked. And I thought that it was because I was using an alternate grip for the deadlifts, because I didn't really know any better. So I was like, this is bad. I got to switch this. So I stopped doing this grip, and a friend had told me about double overhand hook grip. And so I started doing that, and yeah, the rest is history. I don't think that I had some huge, asymmetrical trap from using an over-under grip. There are thousands of people who use a mixed grip or an alternating grip without any issues. So I don't know, maybe I am a special snowflake. Patrick Mackey, what are your favorite and most helpful assistance exercises for the big three, in your opinion? I got a boring answer. I'm gonna say that my favorite assistance exercises are ones that closely mimic the main movements that you're trying to get better at. So to give you an answer, I really like paused work. I will often prescribe it for my clients. So a pause deadlift, where you pause 2 inches off the ground for a 2 count. It's very hard to pause a deadlift out of position. So it's a good way to reinforce that. I also like, no, I'm actually not gonna say pause squats. I like pin squats more than pause squats. So the reason is, when you do a pin squat and you set the bar down a little bit forward, you know it, and it's hard to get that bar moving back up because you're forward and there's nothing you can do about it. But with a pause squat, you have some time to go down and kind of regain your balance, move around a little bit, settle into a good position, and then stand up. And I have worked with novices who are actually better at pause squats than normal comp squats, which tells me that their bounce, the rebound on the bottom, is where the issue is occurring. But anyways, I like pin squats, pause deadlifts, and then for bench press, doesn't really matter. Pause bench, just any of the variations. Pause bench, touch and go bench. I also like pin bench. So those are my answers. Pin bench, pin squat, pause deadlift. Rackmaster 96, sounds like a rapper. What is your view on odd lifts and westside, above knee rack pulls, power cheat shrugs, neck training, Bud Jeffries stuff? I think that you can do whatever the you want to do. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not to say it doesn't work or that I'm better than it. But the main reason is it's difficult if you're always manipulating every single variable in training. And maybe I don't really understand what you're talking about, or I'm not claiming that I really understand Westside. But if you're manipulating multiple variables every single day, exercise selection, loading parameters, sets and reps, right? Dynamic, max effort, repetition. I think that from a programming standpoint, it's kind of hard to keep track of. And I am very focused on, I'm very goal-oriented with numbers. I like to see my estimated 1 rep maxes trending up. And so I think from a programming standpoint, if you're changing things all the time, it's just hard to monitor. And in a way, you're kind of doing the shotgun method of throwing all this shit out there, hoping that something sticks, and then, I don't know, on competition day, you kind of just show up and say, I hope all this stuff I've been doing transfers into my competition squat with knee sleeves and a belt. I don't know. Maximilian Briel, I've been thinking about moving from starting strength to the bridge. The only thing is, my gym isn't set up in a way that would allow me to perform it without dragging a bench all the way across the other side of the gym to a squat rack. Should I just bite the bullet and do that, or are there good substitutions? Max. Those are first world problems, bro. Drag your bench across the gym and get some benching in. Daniel Toftelin, what's the best program for transitioning from novice to intermediate? So I don't know, it depends on what novice program you're doing. I'm assuming you're talking about starting strength, maybe strong lifts 5x5, but I don't know what novice program you're doing. You might start out with, your first program is the juggernaut method, which is 5 sets of 10. So it depends, but if you're talking about starting strength, I think the best program is the bridge. And if you download the bridge, it's a free program. If you download the bridge, it's a small ebook, you will learn why the bridge is the best thing to do post-novice after starting strength. In short, I'll give you a little summary. I think that you need to increase the volume on the main lifts, and intensity should be scaled accordingly. I think that you need to learn some variations of the main lifts rather than just squatting, benching, deadlifting, and pressing. And I think that your exposure to circumax singles is helpful. I also made a video about that, so you can check that out in the iCard. Ahmed Khan. Hey Alan, novice lifter, been lifting consistently recently while performing Romanian deadlifts. I've noticed my grip starts to loosen towards the end of my set. Is it time to get wrist straps, or what other solutions are there? So this is a blanket answer for all questions about lifting straps. If you are never going to compete in a powerlifting meet, I think using straps, no, rewind, I don't think that. You need to either learn how to do the hook grip or alternate your hands. I promise you, you can use a mixed grip. You're not gonna do anything bad. It's not bad for your shoulder. It's not bad for your bicep. Just keep your arms long and straight. Make sure you're being smart about it. So mixed grip or hook grip. Now, with that said, if you really, really, really want to use straps, go ahead. Personally, I will do, if I deadlift twice a week, one of the days will be on competition deadlift day, I'll use a hook grip. On my variation day, I will usually use straps. As I get closer to a meet, maybe 1 month out, I'll ditch the straps and I'll try to do I'll try to do bare hands for everything with a hook grip. Now, I think this is a perfect opportunity. You have set yourself up. This was a softball underhand toss here. This is a perfect opportunity for you to practice the hook grip. Because if you're doing Romanian deadlifts, that's a very submaximal weight. It's fractional compared to what you can deadlift off the floor. So this is a perfect opportunity to practice hook grip. Get that thumb tolerance up. Joel Strand, what other exercises can I do to improve my deadlift? I'm going to refer you to another one of my videos, the spectrum of specificity. I think that well, first off, you need to deadlift more if you want to get better at the deadlift. And I think that incorporating variations like rack pulls, deficit deadlifts, pause deadlifts are all going to be very beneficial, and they're going to help your competition deadlift. GC Grudier, I think that's it. Could you please share your warm-up routine specifically for shoulders? Lots of pressing, mine are messed up. So my warm-up routine is warming up with the barbell and doing the movement that I'm gonna be prepping for. So for bench, I'm just doing a bunch of sets with the empty barbell, or maybe a couple sets of 10 with the empty barbell, and I'll slowly add weight. For the squat, same thing. I'll just walk into the gym, I will squat an empty barbell for a couple of sets, and I'll slowly warm up. If I'm warming up to 405, I'm gonna do the bar for a couple of sets. I'm gonna do 95, 135, 185, just depending on how much I need to warm up. Right now, being so hot in Sacramento, I'm not doing as many warm-ups. So I don't do anything past that. The best way to prep your body for the squat is to just squat. For the deadlift, I do some Romanian deadlifts with the empty barbell, and then I put the bar on my back and I do some squats with the empty bar. That's pretty much it, man. You just gotta do the movement that you are trying to get warmed up for. It's also a huge time saver. I used to do foam rolling and static stretching and a bunch of like hopping around and mobility or like football warm-up type stuff, drills. And God, it would take me 20 minutes to do. I don't have time to do that for 20 minutes, so I don't do it for time either. Brody Blankenship. I had a PE teacher in middle school named Mr. Blankenship. Wonder if you're related. What's your daily routine with running and managing untamed strength? I'm glad you asked this question. I want everyone to listen up. My daily routine is not that exciting. Every once in a while, I get emails from people who say, Alan, I'm wanting to start my own gym. I want to open my own gym. I'd love to fly out to Sacramento and shadow you for a week to learn everything there is to know about opening a gym. Untamed strength is established, right? The gym is here, okay? So I don't have to do a whole lot to start a gym right now. Maybe if you were shadowing me 5 years ago, you would have seen what it was like to open the gym. But honestly, I wake up in the morning, I cook myself breakfast, I make lunch, I come to the gym, and I'll usually end up cleaning off the barbells, putting stuff away if some equipment's left out, shifting some stuff around, wiping shit splatter off the toilet, taking out the trash. And then I work with my in-person clients throughout the day, whether that's longer term clients or one-time form checks, where I work with a lot of you guys who watch my YouTube videos. If I'm not doing that, I have a couple of classes at Untamed Strength, strongman conditioning classes that I run 3 times a week. If I'm not doing that, I'm working with all my online clients, which is very time consuming. Answering their questions, answering all their emails, reviewing form check videos. If they need more programming, new programming for the month, I'm writing that, sending that. I'm either writing down some ideas for these videos, recording these videos, editing these videos. There always seems to be bills to pay, so lots of admin stuff. I might be prepping for hosting a competition, so I'm getting ready for that. There are always phone calls to be made and Untamed Strength emails to be answered. So if you were to come out here and hang out with me, you're just gonna watch me sit on my computer and coach the barbell movements. Not to say that I don't love it, but it's just not as eventful as I think a lot of people think it is.